Hi, so I'm Owen, a co-founder of Rumi. So we've created what is a product and more of a community-led initiative that really brings students together to find their people and the experience that they crave before going to university in the first place. So before today's session, it's becoming kind of abundantly clear as like a quickly growing startup that alignment is crucial in terms of not only how the team embodies the business and your goals and values internally, but how you're seen externally by what is like your customers, your users, or your clients. And something in that is like values that the company has. And without really defining them so everyone's super aligned, it's one of those things that can be left years down the line. And when you look back on it, you will just see this kind of divergence away from what the business actually stands for. And we wanted to catch it early to be, ultimately the team early defines what the company's core values are, but let's really like nail what those are and embody them across the whole business, and knowing that further down the line it's going to be super aligned and clear, not only how we embody ourselves, grow our culture, continue to grow the team, but also how we're seen in the world by our users, by our clients, what they perceive and see Rumi as. So today we kind of took a little bit of a different approach with Jack's support, and we know that especially myself and my co-founder James, we can be very loud in a sense, which is when you're having quite group orientated sessions, if they're left just to brainstorming, you can very quickly find certain conversations being led by some individuals and lesser input from others that kind of just align themselves and agree with what's being said. So it's taking more of like an individual approach of here's a topic or here's something we want to discuss and run through. Let's all think about that separately and write down notes and then come together so everyone is providing value. Then it creates like a really collaborative discussion so everyone is fully aligned rather than someone just feels like they're getting brought along that journey. And I think that kind of culture that embeds in like a group discussion is everyone leaves feeling like they've been heard. But not only that, you're establishing an environment where everyone feels like they've had their say, so they're really bought into the vision or the outcome versus just getting kind of dragged along and not being fully bought into what has come out of like a session like this, which I think was a fantastic way to implement in today's session. So my goal for today was I wanted to leave feeling not only invigorated from the session of kind of doing that deeper, more like meaningful work in terms of like understanding to move the business forward, but knowing and seeing the team is fully aligned and bought into that same like value matrix and vision as well. We got exactly that. Like we got to the end, and not only was it a very collaborative discussion, there was like lots of curiosity in terms of questioning like why and input from everyone around the table, but to the end where we really nailed like our 5 core values that we want to stand by and how Rumi should be seen to the outside world. And it was like very much like a unanimous decision that everyone agreed. And we spent a while at the back end of the session actually where we didn't all agree. Maybe one person didn't agree on a certain thing, and reworking through that to get to the point where we're all fully aligned should mean we're going back to the problem. If it's not done correctly, you can just have divergence away from that. It's kind of now we're all just bought into this very like tunneled approach of what Rumi stands for, and knowing that we're leaving today and we're all going to stand by that and embody it, I think it's just going to enable us to move forward so much faster. Good. It's intense like sessions today when you are doing that deep thought and work. And I said to the team after, it's one of those days where you can feel like it's something that could not be done for 2 years, and like I said, all the problems that were associated with that, but coming back to really understand like the why you're taking the time to do these things and why it's important, and knowing that that task list of actual execution and input may not have been achieved today, but it's the reasoning why it is so important that it's done at this point in time. I guess it's quite like a freeing feeling, which is don't feel guilty the fact that we've not been at the laptops and maximizing our output, and the importance of why we're doing it. So it's very energizing. You do feel a bit like cloudy just from the amount of like mental like energy that goes into a session like today. But it's good, feeling really invigorated. I've said many times around why I think sessions like today are incredibly important. I think it can be something that we could have been in the process of doing it, or many other companies can fall victim to it, is not really putting on weight on the things that aren't necessarily going to move the needle today, but not doing those things could lead to severe problems further down the line, where in today's session was obviously very like value orientated. If that's not done today, you could have a business in 2-3 years down the line where it's like, hold on a minute, every external party sees Rumi in a different light, or your business in a different light. All of our internal team members are disaligned in terms of what values they hold themselves to. Our hiring process means we're not aligned, and we're bringing on people that 3 months down the line don't fit the business. And then we go through the massive expense in terms of hiring and recruitment that you have to replicate and go again. And that just will bleed the business in terms of either failure or just so far off where it could be if done properly. So it's so important that I think any company should really spend time and make sessions like today incredibly important, because it will have compound effects going forward. Yeah, I'd just say, as always, like the way Jack presents himself and really brings that clarity of thought into either group sessions or individual sessions to really kind of pull through the weeds and the strags to like find out what really we're looking to achieve from this and like go deeper on that way of thinking. It's game changing. So yeah, thanks to Jack as always.